Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens are attempting to have a debate about the passing of Charlie Kirk, and Michael Knowles, who was chosen to moderate, says, "I am out." Michael Knowles announced on his program this morning that he will decline the debate between Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson as the moderator. He was sort of invited against his will to moderate this debate because he is one that will consistently take the high road. And in this case, yet again, he chooses the high road in that he doesn't want to politicize or allow someone to make, monetization dollars off of the passing of Charlie.
Andrew had suggested me as moderator, and Candace accepted, and then they started arranging the details of the debate. There was just one person they forgot to ask. From what I've gathered, the debate apparently involves big money, hundreds of thousands of dollars raised as prize money or something. I'm actually not totally sure what the purpose of the money is. I think I'm even being offered a cut. In any case, after giving it serious consideration over the weekend, I will be declining the invitation.
Michael Knowles says that the cottage industry that has formed about because of the passing of Charlie has been a gigantic shame, and he says that we should walk through the process of finding out what happened soberly. And above all else, he talks about the brief unity that was experienced after Charlie's passing. And if you really want to see the demons that we are fighting against, the principalities of the air that we are fighting against, go back to that moment after Charlie passed and re-witness all of the people who were celebrating this extremely moderate, conservative man who is willing to converse with anyone. All that celebration, that is the demonic forces that we are truly fighting against.
Because for 10 or 11 months now, I have been very possibly the only person on the internet who has consistently maintained that our friend's murder should not be used for podcast content. The bigger issue is that even if I didn't think Tyler Robinson murdered Charlie, I am certainly convinced that the guilt for Charlie's murder should be adjudicated with gravity and sobriety in a court of law, rather than in an Ouroboros of endless, not to mention lucrative podcasts.
Michael Knowles then says that more harm than good has been done out of the industry that has arisen following Charlie's passing, and I will admit that my channel grew extensively after Charlie's passing, partly because I feel that I was expressing the same kind of just despair as everyone else was. And in the conservative movement, we really found out that the other side had no qualms with taking the life of somebody simply because of their political views, and not only their political views, but relatively moderate political views that were ones that a lot of us shared. And so the realization that our neighbors were in fact our enemies, as the friend-enemy distinction, Carl Schmitt would be proud of us, that realization was really something that I was able to share, and I think was shared by a lot of us. And in that way, this channel did grow during that time, but I don't think it was because I was attempting to monetize or take full advantage over the unfortunate passing of somebody that I really felt compelled to listen to, not just as someone who took in his content, but as someone after TPUSA helped Trump secure the presidency. I was extremely proud of Charlie, and that moment when he sort of loses it on air is compelling. He was a good man, and I think we all felt that together.
However, a cottage industry sprung up of Charlie murder content. Candace, of course, launched her series on the subject, which I've said many times from the beginning I thought was wrong, and I wish she wouldn't do it. But it got lots of views. People found it very interesting. Then all sorts of other podcasters started doing their own shows. Full-length shows, weeks of shows, months of shows, about how much they hated Candace's shows about Charlie's murder. And those podcasts got lots of views too. The other group of podcasters' justification was that they wanted to debunk Candace's theories. I said at the time that I thought it was a bad idea, that it would be counterproductive, that we should state our opinions, of course, tell the truth as we see it, but that to obsess over every theory and speculation and provocation not only would not work, but in fact would do more harm than good.
Michael Knowles then admonishes this debate as it moves forward to consider two things. The first is that any of the monetization that would happen as the result of this debate and whatever reward money that has been put out there on the table would be given to Charlie's kids.
Lots of very fine people, people I quite like and admire, friends of mine, think this debate is a good idea. I am in the distinct minority of people who have consistently held that all of this chatter is not doing any good whatsoever. Everyone else, on all sides of the subject, seems to think that we're just one podcast away from settling it. So because of that, I'm sure Andrew and Candace will have no trouble finding a suitable moderator, probably several. Since I was briefly roped into all of this, I would like to make a couple proposals before I end my involuntary involvement. First, I understand there's a lot of money on the line in this debate. I don't know the exact number or even how it's supposed to be distributed. If it's a split among the debaters and the moderator, or if it's a prize for the winner, or if there will even be a declared winner. I don't know. What I propose, though, is that every penny of the prize money, as well as the video monetization revenue from however many platforms this is streamed on and restreamed on, probably hundreds of them, goes to Charlie's kids.
Secondly, and I could not agree with this one more, that he stated, or he admonished the debaters to try to come forward with the fact that once this one is over, that we would put the issue to rest. And of course, it's working out in the not just the court of public opinion, but also the actual court. And in that way, we can finally put it to bed.
But put it in a trust for that. Something. Some way to avoid a circumstance in which anyone is profiting off our buddy's corpse. My second proposal is that everyone involved, the debaters, the moderator, the audience, everyone, agrees to keep the cameras rolling for as long as it takes to hash out all of the issues and opinions and intuitions and anything else that can possibly come to mind. And then to put an end to the Charlie murder industry. For the sake of Charlie's widow, Erica, for the sake of his kids, for the sake of his whole family, as well as for the sake of his political legacy, and not least for the sake of justice. Tyler Robinson's defense can make its case. The state can make its case. The rest of us can comment as hard facts come to light from the authorities and from the accused.
Let us hope and pray that justice is served and that we can all put this matter to rest, that we all get the answers that will satisfy the gigantic demand that is out here on the internet. And if that's the case, let's put Charlie finally to rest. If you can get behind that, I would love and appreciate your support. Thank you for watching.